Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everyone. This is Brendan Kavalakis, and this is Grim Dawn. Now, I would like to go over in this video a few things. This is not going to be the main storyline guide video. This is going to be another requested video for beginners. This is going to be my short 5 to 10 minute guide on what to do in the very beginning. Okay. Now, I'm of course going to link this in the description down below. This is my beginner's guide. It's a short guide, as you can see. Well, maybe for you it's not that short, but for me, I find it to be pretty short. So basically, from what I can remember from writing it and typing it and whatever, basically this is what you want to do. You want to go to Hangman Jarvis, you want to talk to him, talk to Captain Bourbon, and then this is what you want to do. You want to come out here, you want to kill all the enemies that are attacking the town, and then, after you're done doing that, make sure you click the body. It's not here right now, but that's because I already clicked it. Now, there should be a body right about where I'm standing. Click it. You'll usually get, a guaranteed potion, a tonic of mending, they're called, for healing your health. And you'll get, you might get an item or two, like a piece of gear or weapon. Just from killing the enemies too. I've even gotten lucky enough on camera to get a scrap off of them. That's this piece right here. Now, I want to go over a few important components first. I want to go over a few important components that are for level 1. These are the 4 components that are for level 1 as far as I know, and I have a lot of components, so I'm just going to go over the level 1 components that are important in my opinion. Scavenged plating. Although it's the most useless component in the entire game to put in armor because it only gives you plus 15 armor, in the beginning slotting 1 into your gear or 2 into your gear is useful, but I would honestly save them. Saving them for the blacksmith that'll come up very soon, and it has many uses in the blacksmith. I would save it for that. I always save all of my components for endgame crafting and use, because I'm not a new player and I have tons of components. Like, let me show you my stash here. Alright, let's go over to the stash. As you can see, I have many legendaries, and I'll go over everything, just give me a minute. This is my stash right now. All of my components. I have 64 scavenged platings that are complete and 1 more in here, and lots of other things, tons of stuff that I've collected over my hundreds of hours, and I mean I could have had much more, but I've been doing modded gameplay and let's plays, and Stalker Let's Play should be up to date as well. This will be the first video to be uploaded, and then the Stalker Let's Play will be uploaded as well. So stay tuned for that. So anyway, let's go over another important component. An important component would definitely be bristly fur. You can get that off the beasts of Cairn. That's Cairn is the world that we're in, and you can get them from basically in the lower crossing, and you go to the old dump place. There will be a bunch of beasts there that can drop bristly fur and a few other things. But bristly fur is extremely important. Slot it into your gear if you want more health. I haven't slotted anything, of course, because again, I'm not new. The only thing I slotted was a chipped claw for slam, which that's another important thing to note. If you want to put a nice single target skill in a weapon or a shield or whatever, you can put a chipped claw in there, and it'll grant slam. It does a ton of damage to single targets, and it's really a good skill to use, and it has a very short cooldown, so I would recommend Slam and the Chipped Claw that grants it, so yeah. I would definitely do that. Now, polished emeralds are like the biggest pain in the ass to find. Like, they're easy to find and everything, but like the reason why they're such a big pain in the ass is because I'm constantly finding polished emeralds. Like, I have so many polished emeralds, it's not funny. But again, I wouldn't slot them into your gear. I mean, it gives 8 to all of your attributes here, physique, cunning, and spirit, but it's again more useful in the blacksmith than it is slotted into your gear. Now, The only thing that I would say that's better than bristly fur would be this, because it gives you a little bit less health, but it gives you cold resistance and reduced freeze duration. Why this is so important is because if you slot like a bunch of these into your gear, you're going to not get frozen for that long at all, and the cold ones, they're called, basically they freeze you in place with a little mini ice nova whenever you hit them. I think that's the retaliation attack, though I'm not completely sure. Um, yeah, that's very important to put into your gear if you really feel like you need the health, cold resistance, and freeze duration reduction, reduced freeze duration. I'm always saying it all topsy-turvy like. Um, anyway, another really important thing to do is sell everything. Sell everything you don't need. Such a bad person, like, I don't do that. Like, I'm constantly forgetting. Ah, wait, I'm gonna buy that back because there's something I want to show you with it. I just saw on it. Yeah, so, okay. This is actually pretty convenient for me. I have a few pieces of gear that I want to show you. Now, okay, this actually works out perfectly. Okay, so basically there are 5 tiers of gear, and like I just said earlier, you want to sell anything that you don't need, but there's 5 tiers of gear. There's white gear, which is common gear. There's the next tier up, which is yellow gear, which is magic gear. There is green gear, which is the next tier up, which can roll with quite a few more stats than yellow, and can even grant you new abilities like Seismic Blast, 8% chance on block. And then there's also, then after that there's blue gear, which is very hard to find. It's epic gear, which always has static stats. What I mean by that, and you might get confused by reading the guide, so listen to me right now. When I say static stats, my final March boots, these are the final March boots, will always have the same stats on them. They will always have physique, they will always have defensive ability, movement speed, physical resistance, and slow resistance. That'll always be there. That'll never, ever, ever change unless you're playing on a mod that makes them like roll with prefixes or suffixes or affixes or whatever. But they'll always have those same stats. The only thing that's going to change on the blue items is that, let me take my Headhunter belt, since I'm using that in the guide as well, for example. It has a stat of 23 offensive ability, as you can see at the bottom of it. So basically what that means is that that 23 offensive ability could have rolled anywhere from a range of 20 to 30. I guess I got a very low roll. I'm not sure if it's actually 20 to 30 that it can roll in, but it can roll from either 20 to 25 or 20 to 30 if I remember correctly. So I just wrote it as 20 to 30 just to give you an example. So yeah, stats are always the same on blue and purple items, but the stat range that they can roll in is different all the time, like it's random. So that's all I wanted to cover with that. Okay, you want to go explore everywhere. Look at my map. It's kind of blacked out and everything because I don't really explore too much. But you want to explore everywhere. You want to go into every house and you want to collect as many of these pages or journals as you can. What these do is when you right click them you can read them for lore, but they also, you don't have to read them. They give you extra experience when you right click them. So I would definitely look out for that. Just one thing. I would like to say that if you're going to pick a class for beginners, I would definitely pick a soldier. Now, I'm not a beginner, of course. I have almost 900 hours in here. And, yeah. What I would just do is definitely pick a soldier if you're going to go beginner, because the soldier is very defensive and very offensive at the same time. He has a good balance, is what I'm saying. He's basically a hybrid between offense and defense, and you can go either which way as well. You can go full offensive glass cannon with him, like almost no defense and tons of offense, or you can go full on tank, just never dies at all, completely hardcore proof and everything, just so good. A few things I would like to mention about him is that military conditioning, I wouldn't pick that up at the very beginning, because you won't gain too much health from it. I have a good bit of health for the very beginning, which is very nice for me. I wouldn't pick up shield training at all, not for a long time if ever. I'll detail my build again later on. Decorated Soldier is also an amazing skill, giving you elemental resistance, physical damage, and slow resistance. So yeah, it's great. And Armor Absorption. Now, I'm gonna go over Armor Absorption like I did in my guide. So let's say that on my armor, we have 80 armor, okay, on my shoulders. It has a 15% chance to get hit. Now let's say I get hit by 100 damage on my 80 armor rating. It'll take 70% of that and reduce it by that much, reduce it by 70%. So guess what? Okay, I get hit by 100, and, well, let me just look at my guide, since I don't want to mess this up for you guys. So, I wrote it down here. Armor absorption basically works as such. You start with 70% of it, you have an armor piece that gives 100 armor, and you take a hit of 100 on that piece of armor. Your armor of 100 will absorb that damage by 70%, making you only take 30 damage. That's how I meant to word it. And I did do some research on armor absorption that isn't taken off the wiki. That's just in my own words of how I understand it. So basically, your armor will absorb 70% of that at 100 damage, and you have 100 armor on your piece of armor, and then you'll take 30 damage. I know it's a little bit confusing, especially for beginners, but that's basically it. So, purple items, like I wrote down here, there's a super rare best of the best here. Do not worry about them at all, because they don't start dropping until about level 50. That's when they start dropping, is level 50. Now, what I'd like to say is, you want to pick up as many quest items as possible. Now, the most important one is scrap. Scrap can be used in, like, dozens and dozens of ways, so many ways. It can be used to repair bridges, it can be used to complete quests, it can be used to make armor, gear, complex blacksmithing, advanced blacksmithing, basic blacksmithing. Hell, you can make basic armor out of it, but the increased cost of iron and not scrap, it always increases in iron cost as you level up, but not in scrap. It always costs a base of 2 scrap, or 1 scrap, depending on what you're making, and a bunch of iron bits. So always keep scrap handy. Another important quest item is Aether Crystals. These can be used in crafting, components, and other miscellaneous things. They can also be used in completing quests, and many other different uses as well. Many different uses. Another thing I would like to mention are Slith Necklaces. You want to collect 3 of them. The reason why you want to collect 3 of them is because, well, 3 per difficulty. I'm pretty sure it's 3 per difficulty, but I can't remember exactly since I don't really do the quest at all. So, you want to get 3 of these necklaces at the very least for normal difficulty, because there's only one quest that I know of that you can use them for, and that's the one in Whitemire. Let me show you, sorry. You want to go to Whitemire, and then there will be over here, where is it? Right here. This is Whitemire Rift, right about here, and you want to go this way and up. And that's where the 3 Slith Necklaces and some iron bits will be turned in. That's your money and some Slith Necklaces, and then you'll get your quest done. And you'll get this right here, the Slith Primal Ring. Very nice ring with elemental resistances. You do more damage to Beastkin, energy regen percent. And there's some stats I want to go over that, thank God, I have some pretty good gear here to have as an example. Energy and energy percent. This will be your basis for casting skills and, well, casting spells and using abilities. Basically, you need energy, and a good bit of it. Unless, of course, you, aren't an energy-based class like, let's say the soldier, for example. He doesn't have too many energy-intensive skills, if any at all. So, energy and energy percent really don't need to be used on him. But it is always good to have on a caster class like the Arcanist for sure, and even the Occultist too. Another one, health and health percent. Health, you're gonna need health, okay? You're just gonna need health. It's self-explanatory. You're gonna need health to live. So getting health and health percent rolled on your gear is very nice and very useful. And that's basically it for the useful stats that you can get. Another really rare one, though, would be Constitution percent. Constitution percent is super good, but super rare and hard to find and hard to roll. Reason being is because your yellow bar will heal you if you don't take damage for a few seconds, and it'll heal all of your health back, as long as, again, you don't take any damage for a few seconds. So yeah, having more constitution will help with that. Now anyway, another important thing are stats. Attribute points, is what I mean. You want to get attribute points on your gear that tailor to what you're doing. Or you can just find any random piece of gear with random attribute points like I did. These have 15 cunning and 20 spirit and some defensive ability percent, which is very good. Defensive ability percent increases your chance to be crit and increases your chance to be hit the lower that you have it. Which means, in short, you want to have a high defensive ability by the end of your game. 1 second. Your other most important stat is offensive ability. You want to have a high offensive ability, because that'll increase your chance to hit an enemy, and you always want to hit an enemy, of course, otherwise they're not going to die, and it increases your chance to crit an enemy. As you can see, when I was fighting those enemies outside the gate as an example, I have a 100% chance to hit them and 17.1% chance to crit them. So yeah. Armor rating, you want to get that up really high depending on what class you're playing as. If you're playing as a caster, you won't have that much armor rating at all. If you're playing as a soldier or a melee build / class, you definitely want to have a high armor rating, as it will help a lot. That basically is it for my beginner's guide, and there's plenty of other things that I could have listed, but they're all in the WordPad down below. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, leave a like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more from my channel. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Have a great day and have a great night. Friend's channel in the description down below. Let me see if there's anything else that I can go over. Just gonna read my guide for just 1 second here. Ah yes, just one more thing. Two more things. There's physical crafting and elemental crafting. Physical crafting is Angrim, and elemental crafting is Duncan. Duncan gives you elemental resistance and damages, and Angrim gives you physical damage and resistances and stuff like that. And another thing, grab as many devotion shrines as possible. Devotion points can make you stronger and help you last longer, and just overall, this entire tree is really useful. I know it can be very overwhelming and very confusing at first, but make sure you look up a guide or anything. Any of my guides can help you with your build. Even if it's a modded guide and everything, you're not playing modded, it can still help you with an idea for your own build. So yeah, make sure to check out my other build videos if you want for ideas on your build. Even if all my build videos are for modded classes except for one of them, it's a good basis to go off of, in my opinion. So I'll see you guys in the next episode, and that's going to be my Stalker Let's Play. I'll see you guys then. Bye guys. Link in the description will be down below for this guide. See you then.